Let's read the second part of the poem, Imagination by G.B. Shaw. I read a book of Jules Verne and went off to the moon. It was just to take a look. Then it was time to return. I spent time in the forests of Africa with Dr. Livingstone as my guide, then off again to America. With Huckleberry Finn, I did hide. In my world of fantasy and imagination, I performed such wonderful deeds. A hero of all nations, I was the one that did succeed. Then I grew up, my childish world at an end. I had to become serious, it nearly drove me around the bend. I still do like the mysterious. This is the message I'm trying to send. Take a look to the rhyme scheme of the poem. As I am starting from the second part of the poem, so I have started as a first. So I have taken the first as I am saying from the top as a first stanza and taken second, third and fourth. So here look, Jules Verne, that rhymes with to return. So I have written here A and A for Verne and return, that rhyming. But moon and look, that is not rhyming. So I have written the another letter B and C. Next go for the second stanza. Africa, guide, America, hide. Africa rhymes with America. So D and D, the same letter. Guide and hide, again rhyming, so F and N. So on for the second stanza. Imagination rhyming with nations. And deeds rhymes with succeed. And the last stanza, it is totally unique one. That is end, bend and send. So I have marked it I and I. But mysterious, that is totally different from these lines and it's not rhyming with this one. So I have changed it. Let's go for the stanza-wise explanation of the poem. I read a book of Jules Verne. So here, who is Jules Verne? Let's take a look. His full name is Jules Gabriel Verne, and his time period is from 1828 to 1905. So it's from late 19th century to early 20th century. He was a French novelist and poet and famous for science fiction. Let's see some of his notable works like Journey to the Center of the Earth, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and Around the World in 80 Days. So what is science fiction? Fiction, that is the imaginary story, and science that only based on the logic. When that scientific logic mixed up with the fiction or imaginary or imagination, then it gives the sense of scientific fiction, that called science fiction. Like an idea of time machine, that we know that it's not possible, but we can think it, or other gadgets that we don't use in our real life, but we can really think the existence of these gadgets with the logic. So our poet here wants to showcase his power of imagination, and he said that he read a book of Jules Verne and he went up to the moon. It was just to take a look. Then he has no work, so he has the time to return. So our poet was very much influenced by the work of Jules Verne, and when he read the book, he actually wants to go to the moon. But as he has no work, so he has to return on earth again to see that beautiful earth. As our poet previously said that he was totally influenced by the book he was reading, so here his influencing person is Jules Verne. So by his science fiction, Jules Verne influenced him very much that he wants to go to the moon and take a look. It is a perfect example of his powerful imagination. Let's see next stanza. I spent time in the forests of Africa with Dr. Livingstone as my guide. Who is Dr. Livingstone? Let's come and know. The full name of Dr. Livingstone is David Livingstone. He was born on 19 March 1813. He was a Scottish physician and an explorer in Africa. So our poet wants to go to Africa with the guidance of the Dr. Livingstone because he once explored that Africa. Then off again to America. With Huckleberry Finn, I did hide. So what is Huckleberry Finn? Let's see. That is Adventure of Huckleberry Finn. It's a novel by Mark Twain. He's an American novelist, but this book was published in United Kingdom at first. So through his power of imagination, he wants to go to Africa with the guidance of the Dr. Livingstone, and he again wants to go to America with the guidance of Huckleberry Finn, that novel by Mark Twain. So here we have seen how our poet loves his book, and he wants to enhance his imagination power through the book's knowledge. Not of his bookish knowledge, he wants his imagination power. He wants to go here and there, he wants to go to the moon, Africa, America, everywhere. Let's read the next stanza and we can explore that what our poet is thinking. In my world of fantasy and imagination, I performed such wonderful deeds. A hero of all the nations, I was one that did succeed. Here our poet wants to resemble himself with those nations, a hero who had sometimes explored the nations throughout the world, who had sometimes invented some new lands and places. So, in his wonderful eyes, he wants to explore those wonderful areas. Through what? Through the fantasy, through the imagination, not in real, because he loves the book and he wants to go to those places, what is written in this book. So his influence only is the book, but through his imagination, he wants to explore those. So through his mind's eye, he wants to see these things, watch these things, wants to feel by his heart. His mind and heart is just mixed up together, a juxtaposed to show a new creation. So his mind just going beyond his foundations. There is no wall. Through his imagination, he can travel here and there. There is no place that is far from him. He can explore the infinite space. He can go any place on the earth. He can travel any country, but there is no money to spend because he is using his imagination power to travel. Let's see the another stanza. Then I grew up, my childish world at an end. Very sorry to say, when our childhood just comes to an end, we feel very, very sorry. Because the childhood days are the most playful days, and this is the days for the imagination. When we go for our busy life, our imagination doesn't take place too much as we did in our childhood. So just like us, our poet also has come to the part of a serious or the busy life. So as he has emerged as a serious human being, so he left behind his past old days, the childish days, when he used to go to another place far from his own place. He could roam anywhere he wanted. But now, these imagination and this power of mind just come to end, because now he has to think about the practical life. He has to concentrate on the career. Has everything come to an end for him? Let's see. I had become serious. It nearly drove me around the bend. So here the work drove me around the bend. So that works only reminds him for reading the book. Means when he reads the book or we read the book, we go for the bend, like by bending we read the book. But now he has become the serious. So he has just left his habit of reading the books. But here is a part. I still do like the mysterious. This is the message I'm trying to send. So our poet wants to send the message to us that don't spoil your childhood, but go with those books and just fade into his imagination to everywhere that you want, or just imagine the story that please your mind. So imagination that our poet loved most and also wanted to give that message to us to do the same.